1,000 pleasures. Let's read IMDb's description on this one. Henpecked misogynist Richard Davis, I bet that's Michael Findlay, murders his shrewish wife and goes out to dispose of her corpse. However, things go awry for Richard after he's abducted by a pair of insane lesbians who take him to their house where they keep a grown woman called Baby in a crib. Oh my god, this is going to be awesome. Welcome to Exploitation Reviews, and me, Rob. Today I'm taking a look at 1,000 Pleasures from 1968. This film came out the same year as The Kiss of Her Flesh and reuses some of the locations and actresses from that film. We start in a kitchen. A very apron-clad Michael Findlay. Oh, love the look. He's getting berated by an overbearing wife. That's Roberta Findlay. And, well, he's had enough.
Stupid. Or maybe you're lying to me about that, too. I don't see why you can't do anything properly. What are you doing now? Richard? Richard? Ah!
And then we get some great titles. Hey, remember that girl from the beginning of The Kiss of Her Flesh? You know, the one with the huge tracts of land? The one who Jennings tortured with a lobster claw and then electrocuted through her earrings? You know, that one? Well, she's here, full Monty, in front of mirrors, shaking all her money makers. It's beautifully photographed, beautifully jiggly, and I can't show you any of it. Sorry about that. Next we hop over to Findlay driving his car, wife in the back, and he picks up 2 women. Personally, I think if you have a body in the back of your car, you shouldn't pick up hitchhikers, but what do I know? Michael Findlay here plays a character named Richard. This time it's Richard Davis, not Richard Jennings. But at the end of the day, they're both dicks. Speaking of which, one of the women he picks up is hungry.
You can't do that here.
Listen, you'll love it. And besides, I haven't had lunch yet.
And when the other woman discovers what's in the back of the car, she's convinced Richard is their guy. They're going to take him home to meet Baby. I think this movie's starting to get a little weird. Hey, remember that movie from the 70s called The Baby? I think 1973? Well, turns out that wasn't the first weird movie to have an adult baby. I don't know if this movie was, but it might be. I mean, this is 1968. Hey, remember her? She was a sick girl in The Kiss of Her Flesh.
I'd seen some nuts before, but these 2 must have escaped from a fruitcake.
Oh god, that line was terrible. I love it. Alright, so what follows next is a rather longish sequence of Baby playing. And, I think this movie's starting to get a bit weird. But I get the impression Michael Findlay was kind of into it. If you're into it too, then you're in, well, let's just say you're in company.
And I thought to myself that I had something she could enjoy much more than that skinny candle.
You're in company. I won't say good. They bring Richard some tea and...
Whatever she put in that tea hit me like a concrete lullaby.
And that's a great line. Okay, so Richard tries to get out of this madhouse, but this guy named Bruno has other ideas. He whacks him over the head and brings him back inside, where the 2 lesbians explain that they want to have a real baby because, their adult baby, I don't know, too big to cuddle or something.
Dot says he's here getting too big to cuddle.
But fortunately, they tell Richard they've developed an ointment that turns every body part into an erogenous zone. I guess this is supposed to help them get over their dislike of men?
I have devised a method for artificial insemination.
Okay, maybe not. So I don't know what the ointment story is all about. I think this movie's starting to get a little weird. So one of the lesbians gives Richard a hand, and then she, her lover, and Bruno take Richard's car to dump the body. Back at the house, Richard has taken a bath, and he's interrupted by Anna. Well, She calls herself Anna, but we know her real name.
Booberella.
Eventually, everyone relocates to the living room for baby's feeding time. And we all know what babies eat. And more importantly, we all know that while babies are eating, it's just good parenting to whip them while topless. And you know, I really think this movie is starting to get weird. Pretty weird. The next morning, Booberella wakes Richard up and tells him he better leave, otherwise the lesbians might kill him. He tries to leave, but he can't find his way off the island. When he stops to get his bearings, Bruno has caught up to him and bashes him on the head again and takes him back to the house again, and he might have some mental problems after all this, as if he didn't already. But in order to prevent future escapes, the lesbians burn his feet. And use him as an ashtray. But, and this tip really applies to all of us, maybe it's not such a great idea to torture and humiliate a man who you already know has committed murder. Just a thought.
I've had enough of all you pigs. Now's my turn.
Baby gets it first. The two lesbians don't fare much better. But Bruno's still around, and he knocks Richard out. Again. And just as Richard is coming to, Booberella comes in and smothers Richard to death with one of her Booberellas. And you know, I think this movie's really starting to get a bit weird. But that's it, that's the movie. There is one final scene where Anna's caretaker and Booberella are out on the beach, and Booberella saves the caretaker from, I guess, committing suicide or something, and then they agree to be a couple and raise their own baby, and the whole cycle's going to repeat, I guess. But, you know, it doesn't really matter. Well, what do we say about this movie? Well, I guess first and foremost, this is kind of a fetish film, and if any of these fetishes appeal to you, this might be your film. And unlike many of Findlay's other films, the main victim, well, maybe we shouldn't call him a victim, the main torture victim here is Findlay, a man. So, you know, if you want a roughie that has a little man torture, yeah, this might be your film. For me, though, and maybe you're like me, I appreciate films from directors with a singular vision. I want to be shocked and surprised by outlandish, audacious, totally wild filmmaking, and so it's no surprise I'm a huge fan of Roberta and Michael Findlay.